Do you know this week I googled something that you may or may not know?
What?
Do you know a kangaroo has 3?
What?
Damn. That's a lot of. And guess what? Guess what? A kangaroo's not a pussy.
Pouch, is it 2 or 3?
No,
it has
3.
the pouch.
Bro, let me tell you.
The pouch is one of it,
God
right?
damn.
So I don't even know how I got there. How many private
Yeah,
parts?
also, how the did you get there?
Right, so it's,
Yo,
Wait, did you Google how many does a kangaroo have?
I actually go. I must have seen it somewhere. Right, it's like female kangaroos have 3, 2 that lead to the 2 uteri, and a middle one for birth and urination.
Hold up.
And male kangaroos have 2 pronged.
The mics are blood clot open. Check, check, check.
Select accent for the podcast.
Calvin always late.
Welcome back to The Mics Are Open. My name is Ashley.
My name's G Money.
Do you know what episode it is?
No.
Exactly.
I did say it.
Episode 305, isn't it?
306? Oh, 305?
Or
305?
305.
One of them.
I was going to say
It's the
306.
episode you're getting this week. Fam, I don't know about you guys though. Are you tired of holidays?
Yo, can we say that again?
I'm tired of holidays.
Done.
So by the time you see this, it's Friday. We record on Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday is Labor Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's another holiday at the end of the month, apparently June 1st.
Yep.
Like, all right, when I used to be on the radio, it used to be fun to have all of these holidays. Like, no. But now that I'm in the world of trying to hustle,
It's terrible.
so inconvenient. Like,
Yeah.
this
Like-
was a 3-day week.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's
Another.
a 3-day week. No, this is a terrible 3-day week. Because it also falls under the proper end month.
Right.
So there's a lot of
Oh.
transactions, right?
Yeah.
So if your guys haven't approved your payment,
They
Yeah,
trickle
today.
into next month.
Yeah, this
tomorrow,
Wednesday, yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
right?
And by Friday, next
if
week,
it's not, and some guys will be like, let's approve Friday.
Yeah.
So Friday doesn't hit.
Until
Next week.
Tuesday. Also, it's
God
really
damn.
messed up because it's Thursday. Like, just put it on Friday,
Yeah.
right? Let the long weekend be a long weekend
But-
instead of that little pause in the middle.
And this is actually
weird.
funny enough. I was just telling Byron before we whatever. For me, and I think I even mentioned it when you guys were like, "Yo, what are you doing for Easter?" And I was like, "Bro, this period for me, I don't really like it because you guys have to realize we've had a 4-day week."
Yeah.
Three
A
times.
4-day week, a 4-day. This is a 3-day week. Let's call it what
yeah.
it is, And fees is due.
And even before Easter, we had Eid.
Yeah, we had Eid.
Yeah.
Right? Bro, fees is due.
Yeah.
Do you know how many parents have had all of those holidays? Now think of it. If you're a business person,
I get
you're
you.
chasing payments.
Yes.
It's been delays because
Yeah.
of 4-day weeks, right?
Yeah.
And guys will be like, it's a holiday. Let me take advantage and take my 1 day here, another day here, and you get a very good leave.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically,
terrible.
a month full of.
I mean,
Yo.
I never
Doing
thought,
nothing.
like, what part of adulting does it get to when you start saying there's too many holidays?
Too many. Bro, let me tell you, true story. I was paying fees last week. I paid like quarter. I told them, relax.
Yes.
Everything
The
else
rest will
will come.
It will come.
I was just like, everything. I
That's how
swear
we've
to
gotten.
God. Like, I can even show you guys a text message. I was like, relax. Everything else will come.
And it's funny because, like, now that you mention it, traffic today was bananas. So
Yeah.
it's 3-day. It's been the 3-day week.
Yeah.
It's been end month. And also kids are now back at school. Like, who?
Yeah.
Wait, kids are back?
I was talking to my daughter Tuesday. I'm like, so you're back to school tomorrow? Then you are home on Thursday.
Yeah.
Then you're back to school. I was like,
Make it
come
make
on.
sense.
So you make it, they just go back to school on Monday.
Next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Like one time.
Yeah,
But then you
it's-
know what? I have decreed. She didn't go to school today.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it
for
doesn't
sure.
make sense.
I would be like, you know what? Like, if school's opening back on Tuesday, you're gonna be home on Thursday, then
Yeah.
go back to school on Friday. See, we just go school on Monday.
No, me, I'm being a cheapskate, because of transport money. Let's start the new month clean. Let's not be counted for this week. I'm like,
true.
nope.
No,
Yeah.
we've got
But
it
you guys are
messy.
good though.
Yeah.
What do you have? Anybody have anything to say about Arsenal before we move on?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Thank God.
What?
Hey, 3 minutes in, I spared you. I was just like, look at that shit. Then you guys scored that. I was like, Lord. do the things that you do. Offside, but you guys did well.
Do you know-
But then you know what? Funny enough, right? Sorry, I've not watched football in so long. Well, I've been watching, especially with Champions League, right? But Emirates is a pretty beautiful stadium.
It was one of the first new mega modern stadiums. But it's 20 years old now.
Do you know, funny enough, when
Still beautiful.
Yeah.
very like when the shot started yesterday,
Yeah.
you know, the curvature at the top.
Arsene Wenger,
Bro,
man.
I fucking went and Googled capacity. I was like 60K. I was like,
That's wild.
The thing about
Nice.
it is it's like it's really crazy how well the Emirates still stands up against many stadiums.
yeah.
Because it was built so futuristic at the time.
Wow.
But it's I think sometimes about the sacrifices that we had to endure because we had the debt of the stadium. Those players that we had, man. She's like Silvestri from United.
All of these guys.
Sigan.
I never knew that actually. So you guys had to because of the debt.
We didn't have no money.
Who was your shirt sponsor then?
It was still it was O2 when we moved.
Okay.
Phone company. Then it went to Emirates. But remember, at that point, the idea was to sell all of these, turn Highbury into like flats and stuff.
Yeah, that's
they
what
didn't
they
all
did.
sell out immediately.
Oh.
So that's why you look at like when people talk about Arsene Wenger, and you say like how Arsene Wenger managed to get us into the top 4 and then still into the Champions League for all those years
It's a
with
good
no
manage-
budget.
Yeah.
So it's actually miraculous.
Yeah.
Like we had Bellerin, Senderos. Oh, I think about those teams and I shudder.
I saw him in the stands yesterday.
Oh, this other guy, Shamak. Jesus Christ. We have seen things.
I've forgotten all of this.
Shamak.
No. Since we're talking about Arsenal, right? Just to get it out of the way. You had a whole weekend where you sent me a lot of messages about one of the greatest Arsenal players
Ian
being
Wright.
slandered.
Right.
Ian Wright.
Yes.
Proceed.
So, for those of you who have been following, there's a female pundit called Ini Oluko. I think her name, and she made some remark about how Ian, needs to be aware of how much space he takes up in the female game.
Yeah.
Because Ian Wright is a very proactive in women's
Pundit,
football.
yeah.
But there are some people you just can't, like someone like Ian Wright. You just can't. Like you just can't say, but you can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Like
It's essentially the Wright brothers.
yes,
Oh, wow.
They
Yeah,
literally,
right.
you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that we could all fly. Like there'd be no Boeing
So
without
he's-
the Wright brothers.
I get you.
No, essentially, because when you think about like, bro, women football and the players who've been at the forefront of making the noise and
Yeah.
appearing and
About it.
Yeah, I watched the video where
and the crazy thing with what she said about Ian Wright was that, like, Ian Wright has been in the trenches, and I've said it before, I think, on the podcast. The reason why I'm such a fan, when people say to me, who's your favorite Arsenal player? Everyone will say Thierry Henry, and he's definitely one of the greats. But for me personally, it's Ian Wright, because Ian Wright is the reason that so many of us actually really got into Arsenal, because he was one of us from the ends, Mandem, had the gold teeth, was doing the bogle dances when he scored goals, was passionate about the game, and he was a baller. And he began his career late as even Jamie Vardy did at Leicester.
oh really?
Yeah, because he never went like he was at Crystal Palace before he went to Arsenal.
Yeah.
He comes from Sunday League, non-league football. Came into the game late. That's like Vardy came into the professional game late. And still banged up all those goals, like 158 goals in like that's mad.
Bro.
But it was more of what he represented, like even
Who
when
he is, and even after the
you
game, after the
can't.
career.
You can't.
His son's now playing as well.
Yeah, like Sean Wright Phillips, what he did, because even Sean is Ian's adopted kid,
Oh, cute.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
when
yeah, actually, I read that, yeah.
Integrated him into the football world
100%
completely.
into the family.
Okay.
So Ian has been like a role model for Mandem for decades.
That's dope.
He posted a video and he's like, yo, apology, I don't accept.
And I respect that. That's Ian.
Yeah, he's like,
Ian's
I don't accept this
your
apology.
I don't accept it, but let's move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, and I like how he put out the video. He said, I'm putting out this video so that I don't want no social commentary when I'm somewhere. So Ian, what you think? Bro,
I'm
that's
giving
my
you
statement.
the low key.
That's it.
Yeah.
Done.
The lowdown.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But
Crazy.
it's interesting. Sometimes I think to myself, and like, I think to myself, sometimes it's like, as much as we promote equality and as much as we want to have parity in this whole world and stuff, right? Sometimes if a woman can be as proactive about men as a man can be. And it's okay, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But if you've noticed, whenever there's a woman who's like, you know what, ladies, by the way, we need to stop giving men a hard time. It's like, she's such a pick me. You know, like even other women will say, you
Stop.
You get me? So I don't know, man. It's a crazy thing, man. I rather than try to understand why Eni would attack Ian, I spent most of my week trying to figure out in my mind whether 100 men could actually beat a gorilla. And I need to qualify. Is this black men?
Actually valid.
Because it said like the actual thing was 100 niggas, isn't it?
Yeah.
So are we talking about black
okay.
people?
It's of course it has to be black people.
Fam.
Man, you know, I'm so disappointed. You had a whole thesis that you wrote.
Yeah, about.
And I was just like, okay.
That wasn't me. That was ChatGPT, bro.
Yeah. With your help.
With my help.
With your help.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You guys are thinking too far, bro. A gorilla
Yeah.
against man.
Yeah.
Ain't you guys heard about G-Unit?
Gorilla unit. You know the crazy thing
Wow.
is? The crazy thing is this, right? It's like one of those ones where it's such a, and this is about virality.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid premise. Like it's a really dumb premise.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that has got to be the most ultimate high thought of all high thoughts.
Bro, have you watched that video with these two guys who smoke up and just look at each other and go like, oh my God, no. Have you watched them? So
Yeah.
when I find them, when I'm scrolling, bro, they come up with some crazy ass things. Like there was one about fish in water, they see oxygen. And they're like, you know how fish get the oxygen through the gills and what?
Yeah.
So they're like, so if you take out a fish out of water, it can still see oxygen.
Bro, these are the same ones like come up with a thing like if kangaroos invaded Uruguay, because there's only like 13 million people in Uruguay and there's 70 million kangaroos
in Australia.
Each person in Uruguay would have to fight off
At least three
kangaroos.
It's the same, guys.
You know what?
Same thing with the orange. And why is orange called orange if orange didn't exist before orange? But is it because orange was called orange or orange was called orange?
You
Wow! Wait a minute.
That's so
Is it because
true.
of the color or is it because of the fruit?
Yeah.
Is orange because it's orange, or orange is orange because of the orange?
I think it's because of the fruit.
It's a
mindfuck, isn't
But let's
it?
talk about marijuana though.
Hold up, before we get to marijuana, this kangaroo story, now that we are in,
So you know kangaroos are vicious.
kangaroos against,
vicious.
what do you say, gorilla?
No, you're
Oh.
gorilla, man.
Kangaroo.
Nah, you know
Kangaroo.
kangaroos are
What?
fighters.
Have
Like
you
they
seen
always
those
got their hands up.
motherfuckers?
Pause. Can we all pause? This is a very serious podcast, yeah? But let's go on. It's a very serious podcast. Huh?
that one.
Sorry. This is a very serious podcast.
Bro, a kangaroo. Do you know, first and foremost, right? Like those gorillas, the ones in Rwanda, they're nice, they're chewing on thingies all day.
They're
what do they
nice?
call? Sticks and what?
Because they're herbivores.
No,
They're herbivores, right?
yeah.
Have you seen those kangaroos just stand up?
They're always ready to square
They
up.
got a six-pack and all of that.
Do you know?
And like they literally are like packing
They're
up.
so
buff.
fucking buff. Like,
It's
even
like they go to the gym to pump up before
do
they
you
go
know
out in the
do you know
forest.
what's crazy about this conversation? Do you know this week I Googled something that you may or may not know.
what?
Do you know
Go
a
ahead.
kangaroo has 3 vaginas?
What?
Damn. That's a lot of pussy.
Is it because
And
Wow.
guess what? Guess
No,
what?
hold on, what's
A
it-
kangaroo's
is
not a
the
pussy.
pouch? Is it 2 or 3?
No,
It
it's
has a
3.
pouch.
Bro, let me
Like,
tell you.
How
The
did you
pouch
know?
is one of it,
God
right?
damn.
So I don't even know how I got there. How many private
Yeah.
parts does
Also, but how the fuck did you get here? Jesus.
Right, so it's-
Yo,
Wait, did you
bestiality
Google how many
category.
vaginas does a
God
kangaroo
damn.
have?
I actually go I must have seen it somewhere, right? It's like female kangaroos have 3 vaginas, 2 that lead to the 2 uteri and a middle one for birth and urination.
Hold up.
And male kangaroos have 2-pronged penises.
Damn. That's why I'm telling you this shit can definitely kill or whatever.
They can fuck up a baboon. But what are they called?
So,
Those ones.
like, do you want to Google some more?
No.
No.
Actually, please do.
So, like, when it's on its period.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Is it from all three or is it just one?
You get.
But if one is just for like, one is for
Damn.
for peeing as well.
You know what's amazing that we're having this conversation without.
Yo, hold up.
Imagine if we were on
So,
drugs.
if it has 2 penises, like it goes inside twice. God
Also,
damn.
if it's
This
coming
is some
from one, does the
crazy ass
other one
shit.
come too?
How many testicles does a male have?
Exactly.
Can we stop and think about something else?
Okay.
What I think about is,
That's a
what's
lot
the
of-
most random thing that you ever found yourself like down a rabbit hole in Google? Because this happens to me
Every time.
lot.
Mine is more TikTok though. Then I go to Google. A lot though.
For me, like,
Bro, I can be watching a movie, or not really I watch movies, but I can just be like, for example, like I know why the number plates in the UK are numbered in a particular way. Like I have no use for that
Yeah.
That
information.
information.
But you can tell the year where the car was made by, I don't know why I learned that in this last week.
I saw a video about that.
I have no need to know that.
I'm like
know,
that.
I know how different animals give birth and how they actually get pregnant. Also, I know that koalas have an STI.
Oh yeah.
That's common sense though.
Those things are awkward down south.
Mine's more like,
but you know,
how do the bodies work?
what
of
do you
different,
what do you like?
animals?
No, for me, I think what happened, and I've always been very curious, right?
Yeah.
But many years ago, G introduced me onto Quora.
Yes.
So I have the Quora app.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of time, like even when I Google things, right? So like Quora's always been up there.
Yeah.
Right? But now with ChatGPT gives you instant answers.
Yeah.
But Quora, because of the debates, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I mentioned to you guys some weeks ago on the podcast when I was Googling about milk and honey. And were there really cows in the Bible story? Because you hear more about sheep,
and
lamb,
camels.
and all of that. But you
Yeah.
don't hear much about cows.
But I can quote you a biblical scripture on
Where?
that.
Oh.
Where the Bible says, I can't quote it word for word, but basically there's cattle on 1,000 hills and they all belong. But then cattle is cows, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
General, yeah.
But it's not mentioned as much
It is actually.
as sheep
Actually,
and
let
lamb.
me tell you something. I've been listening to the Bible like a storybook lately. And even within Genesis, where you meet now Abraham, Moses, etc., between Genesis and Exodus, you hear a lot about the cattle. So they're always telling you, like, go gather your cattle and go forth and do what.
But now,
go to Pharaoh and
but
gather
notice
your cattle.
the difference in the Old and the New Testament.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the New, it's not as much. Old, it's there.
Let me get that, then we can discuss.
match instances, right? Like, so that same Bible story and everything. Bro, I didn't know that Jesus, there's a whole period that's unaccounted for.
Yeah, the lost tapes.
The lost tapes. You know what I mean? Nas, you know what I mean? The lost tapes. So he did go to like, as far as India.
Who Jesus
Yeah.
went to India.
Fam, I was hearing that shit. I'm like,
Where did you hear this from?
this
Cora.
is.
I saw that. You sent it to me.
I sent it to you.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
I was like,
Some video.
okay. Like for me, it fascinates me. It really does. It's like that conversation you want here. We went on a whole tangent. Andy, myself, and G fell asleep. On the
The week before last.
Yeah.
But you actually blacked
we
out.
were like, because we were like, would you want to have humans to come with AI preloaded? So
Yo,
when you say something,
Ashley.
You already have
know.
the answer.
You already have the answer.
Hey, we're not going back.
You're not trying to go through
These
this
guys-
again?
The week before last episode, they bored me to death.
You made G sleep.
She was like, he was even on the couch like,
Why don't you have that
Let me ask you a
clip?
question though. Don't like let's dig into the world of podcasting for a little bit, right? Because this is a very random edition of the Mics Are Open, and
Yeah.
we'll come back to our thesis about the 100
Gorillas.
gorillas. But I've been
men and
thinking about
gorillas.
it, like, and I want you guys to help us if you're watching this or you're listening to us, right? The Mics Are Open as a podcast. Who do we talk to? Because I think that our audience has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Because I think that the way I look at it, it's like I feel that the reason I'm asking this is because I get people coming up to me at least 2-3 times a week, 4 times a week. I love your podcast, right? And every time someone comes to me and says that, I kind of give them a quick,
Like breakdown, yeah.
breakdown.
Whatever.
They're all so different. They're all so different. Like sometimes it's the youth man them.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's the youth man them.
Yeah.
Then sometimes there's some people who I wouldn't even expect, like, respectable. I see a man out with his wife and vice versa, and it's like, oh, hi, G. And the wife is like, I love your podcast. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, doesn't that ever, like, fascinate you sometimes?
Yeah. I think it's because the same thing happens to me, actually. And you wonder, like, how do you even, like, from where do you like this, right? Because I've also had some of my dad's colleagues telling him, I mean, he does work with younger people, but also older guys. Some of his colleagues also go like, oh, your daughter is Ashley. Her podcast is really cool. I'm like, don't listen to that shit. Not you, okay? But it's confusing. But I think it's also because we have the dynamics are different. We have experience, like you two have different experiences. Me and Andy have different experiences, but they kind of align. So we tap into a larger demographic. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Could work to our advantage and to our disadvantage as well, because it's not necessarily a niche, or if that makes sense. It's not really pivoted to one thing, but it works out to our advantage because it's also a wide spectrum of what we talk about.
I think it's not wide spectrum for sure, right? I think it's one of those podcasts. If you've been rocking with us from the beginning, you could tell the conversations we were having, quick quote, right?
And I was just getting there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. There's depth. There's this. We've done and experimented on so many different things, and we're also experts in so many different things.
True.
Like I could tell you, hey, if we sat down and said, mics are open each and every week, we're going to do a podcast about music. Boom, knock it out.
Yeah.
Easy. You get. If we're going to do something about sports, knock it out. You get.
And in different fields,
and in
sports,
different things,
and in music.
So, yeah. So we could go, if we were to say, hey, let's have a conversation about, say, for instance, education. We can get into that.
And I think also what is different, and this is something that came to me, and I'll throw it out there, is that we've not stayed
In the same.
in a particular space.
Yeah.
So, for example, 6 years ago when we started, like when you look back at those editions, when I think about it, technically speaking, I think we were all in different phases of life.
Yeah.
But you see, sometimes like you have a product, like you say, you have a product that is let's say, give me a TV program that's famous.
Friends.
Friends. They stay within that thing for all the seasons.
Same
Yeah,
words.
the same.
Yeah.
But then I think about it, right? And this is on the basis of something you sent me today. Bro, I can't imagine having those conversations now.
Same as me. Like 100%.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, like I do you know when Jesus goes like, you need to go back and listen to some of those episodes.
No, but they're fun.
I'm like,
Do you cringe a little bit when you listen to some of the older episodes?
There's episodes I'm not going back to. I'm so far gone. You know that Drake thing? So far gone.
I
I'm
think
all right.
it's interesting. I listen back. I feel like I listen back to like say between 50 and 0. The first one and 50. Those things are hilarious.
And that's the thing.
But-
we were funnier more than educational.
Right, but
now we're like...
I couldn't do that now.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it now.
For me now, it's where my mind is at, who I am as a person, so many different kind of things. Because at times when you miss this, what you are in life, you miss it, right? But also I think I'm a bit more... Well, I still crack the same stupid jokes, right? But there's in-depth things that I can't go into anymore because I know my daughters are over there just Googling this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get what I mean?
Yeah. No,
And she's not the reason for everything.
Yeah.
But at times...
You don't want to be the person popping up on her search.
Well, okay, let's take it back, right? So
Yeah.
I'll put it that and not that in a way. Like what we were just talking about, Kangaroos right now. I think that's insanely funny. Yeah. I mean, like, think about it. It's funny, it's informative, And
Yeah, because if you didn't learn anything from the podcast, you know a kangaroo has
Have
3
three
vaginas.
vaginas.
Yeah.
Take that with you wherever you go.
exactly.
It's a conversation starter. Like, break the ice.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Did you know? Like, here's the thing. Like, I can tell you, on this here, there's a lot of podcasts, right? A lot of podcasts in the 251. Guys are very informed, right? But I can mention to you a handful of podcasts that can have a conversation about the Tuskegee experiment.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
At depth and
This and what. You know. And you know, everybody plays to their own strength, right?
Sure.
And here's the thing. I also feel like when we're saying that, we've grown in the sense of, bro, Ian Wright, same thing.
I think
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I look at the mics as a component of a wider mission for us. And I think for me, I look at it as the opportunity to have a conversation amongst all of us who have come up together on a weekly basis.
True.
And it might be a bit inward looking because we can have conversations like this. Because I mean, in the end of the day, there's somebody out there can say, oh my God, I watched the mics open and those guys spent 20 minutes just talking about themselves. But the people, but like you say, the people who rock with us understand that we have those moments of introspection and those moments of craziness.
If I ever, my mom has a thing, and also my family group, they always say, thank God you have the mics are open. Because if I don't, bro, I'd be trolling them on the group. Like, I'd just be getting kicks off of that shit. Like last week, I was on that group like, yo, you guys were the ones saying vote for Ruto on this group, everything. He's the anointed one. Were you guys not commenting on, I don't know what he'd done or something. And I was just like, hey, where you guys? Then my auntie dropped for me a bomb. She's like, yo, ain't you the one who was in State House for the inauguration? I was like, I had to say, yo, listen.
Kind of has a point,
There was a
though.
free lunch. He was like,
You never say no to free food.
you never say no to free.
I feel you, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
get you.
I feel you, man.
Bruh, speaking about, politics and everything, bro.
Documentary?
Yeah.
Blood Parliament?
Blood Parliament.
Bro, I watched that.
Hold on, let me ask, have you watched it? Have you watched it? Do you know, I haven't watched it. And
Yo.
I don't want,
Let me
there's a
tell
part
you.
of me that doesn't want to watch it.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's a good watch. You need to watch it. If you're Kenyan, if you're not Kenyan, you need to watch it. But the one thing I'll tell you is the emotions that you'll have will be insane because you're kind of like reliving it again. It's so painful. It's so distressing. You're literally reliving it. And let me tell you, BBC did a great job in how they literally highlighted and they showcased that the people who are shot when they were breaching parliament are actual people. Like, they showcased who these people were. It's a very painful documentary to watch.
I before we go into it, and like obviously I'm gonna be hearing your perspective, and I've obviously absorbed the perspectives of the people who have watched it. My reason for not watching it yet is probably the same reason why I have never watched the final episode of Kanye's documentary. Because I feel like it's gonna be so painful to watch.
Yeah.
That it's gonna take me. I'm an empath. It's gonna take me a while just to get over it.
Yeah.
And also for me, when I think about June 25th, I remember exactly where I was. I remember where you guys were. I remember calling you guys and saying, "Yo, if you're in town, get out of town." And bro, I watched it on television, bro. I watched those kids being shot on television. Like, I can never forget that. Like, I see it. I watched it on Citizen. I see the crowds running. I see the tear gas. It was traumatic.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to how Kerry Martin was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, for a couple of days well after what he saw. I remember, it's real. It's very real to me personally, and it's real to everybody. Yeah. And I just don't know if I want to go back there in this moment. I think once the buzz is off and whatever, maybe. But in this moment, I don't know if I want to go back there, man.
For me, I postponed watching it until this morning.
Right.
So I was up early 7:30, made my coffee thing. I was like, before I start working, like, let me watch it. And everything, there's nothing new that you've not watched. Everything that you saw, because even when you watch the documentary, the credit is Citizen, NTV, KTN, and all the various cameramen, all the clips from so many different people, right? But the one bit that was new for me was the burial of the man, the 39-year-old man, who was a church, he used to run a Sunday school.
Yeah.
And for me, it was more personal because one of my guys was in uni with him. Yeah, and for me, it's now the perspective of, because, you know, everybody in that, like the guys who were deep in were young guys.
Very young.
But now every single time I'm in the office, I look at this guy and I'm like, you guys were in school together. You get what I mean? So that was number one. Number two was just, you know, Ademba, that guy. If we're giving awards,
Anyone.
in terms of merit, that guy did an excellent job. Like, I didn't know about his story, but he was the guy who was helping carry, and he wasn't afraid. The guy, someone's been shot, he's gone
goes
back
up to-
again, and you hear his testimony because he's been interviewed, and he was like, I couldn't let this guy die there. I have to carry this guy. But at that same time, I'm thinking about what if I'm shot?
Yeah.
How my parents gonna go through all of this? So there's that. But the BBC really did a good job in terms of, like, you know, all of the footage from so many different angles. Like, they're like, I've not seen nothing like that. So intentional. They're like, that guy was shot. They even pause, zoom, reverse.
you
They're like,
3D
okay,
angles,
look at that guy falling down. This is from this angle. This is the guy who's back in the command. Now, we think it's that guy who took a knee and shot.
Now
And then
zoom
they're
in.
like, okay, let's take it from that angle. So it definitely has to be that policeman, right? This is how he is and this and what. Hey,
They were
in-depth,
forensic in the analysis.
proper.
No, they
Proper.
did a thorough job.
Yo.
Like a thorough job.
Very.
I
And
think
also
I
just
watch
really
it.
humanizing. Like, I think that's what you're
Yeah.
just saying, humanizing the people
Yeah.
that passed, and also the people who are helping. Like, it made it even more real, if I can say that.
And there's stories, right? The
Yeah.
stories of this guy. So I didn't know about the Sunday school thing. You know, Boniface attending the burial and asking the
the
mom.
mom. Oh,
so, I can't quite recall what he asked the mom, but the mom was just like, broken.
Yeah, she
You
had
know what I
no
mean?
words.
And also the guy who the bullet tore through his head, right? What was his name? I forget his name. But it's Brian. Was it Brian or what? Right? Because it was a lot, right? But they showed how he was in Nairobi University. The video of him, what do you call it? The video of him singing.
Yeah.
And all of those. There's such a huge human element of it, right? And when you watch all of that and realize those are the lives that was, robbed,
taken, yeah.
right? Taken. It could have been anyone.
Yeah.
Because like that one video of the guy who's now shot by an army guy. Now that brings into question a lot. Because the day Parliament was stormed into, the 25th of June, right? Parliament, they hadn't signed that bill to okay the military to get. You get?
Yeah.
But now when you look at the statement at the end, it says the military can be deployed to help the police secure state what and all of that. But why is there one military guy?
Who's rogue?
You get? Like how they did that whole thing, the boots, the camouflage,
Yeah.
everything. The badge.
I think also what's gone?
Yeah, so because for me, when I think about that, like today as we do the podcast, right? The High Court LSK has just won one of these many battles they've been fighting for. Cops have to wear uniform during demonstrations. They can't cover their faces, no balaclavas, none of that, right? And also you can't you can't be stopped from demonstrating in town. That's good. But it brings into perspective, and that is what everybody's feeling very demotivated about everything that happened, because we have guys who don't follow the rule of law perennially.
Yeah, but then you see the thing about it is it's like I understand that, but it's something we've been talking about for the longest while in terms of I feel that once you become part of government and this is not just the present government, the past government, all parts of government. There's something that trips in your head, and it's as simple as the drivers.
Yeah.
It's as simple as the guys who drive the GKBs, GKAs. Something that says that now I can behave in any way, shape or form. You mentioned like a rogue soldier or rogue cop. Fam, you have to look at the environments in which these people are being asked to even live themselves.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And also the fact of the matter is, remember, like, how are these guys even recruited?
Yeah.
It's a lottery and corruption. People are paying to get into these places.
Yeah.
But
so that's a bedrock that we're building from.
it's a bedrock, but also they're still human. And also you have to remember that with the military, the police and everything, these guys are following commands. They're not like you and I. You could actually go get court-martialed as a military guy for not following an order from your senior. Facts. So, when I'm saying there's the rule of law in this country is non-existent, how you have a military person in parliament doing what?
Because you're not meant to. They're not meant to.
They're not meant.
Raise firearms within the country.
But here's the thing, right? With that said, you know the mausoleum for thingy
Jomo
Kenyatta, which was moved, right? You know it was, right?
Years ago.
Yeah. But they used to be military because he's a former commander who it was always protected. But in this particular footage that we're talking about, and not a lot of people knew about it. We're just finding out about it. And if there were people who were, you get, I didn't know about it, right? I always knew it was, the corps, general service and everything. How one guy is there as a military guy.
And even I remember that specific day. The notion was, and I saw them when we were leaving town. They were literally next to State House, protecting State House.
Who, the military?
The military, yeah.
No. It was GSU. The army only. Remember the day after. So there's even in this video. Let's get to your point, right? Even in this video, remember the first day of the protest, the president said no. These are not protesters.
These are treasonable, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, remember. Then after everything, he takes it back. And this is when he now says, I'm not going to sign the bill.
That was the day after, yeah.
Right? And this is when they've now signed for the military to exit the barracks to protect state house. It's not state house only, state property, for lack of a better word. But the cops, remember when everyone was home watching the videos, they just did a lap. They were packed by Nyayo Stadium. The work of the GSU, the wrecker squad and those guys is to protect the president. The military don't do that. You get what I mean?
Okay, I get
but
you,
he's got his own, what is called?
President or whatever.
Yeah. No, the guy who protects him.
Yeah,
That's a military guy.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Yeah, aide de camp. But it's crazy. Watch it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
But
when you're ready.
When you're ready. But for me, it's come at a very interesting time.
Watch it after this weekend, Sheree.
Yeah. It's come at a very interesting time because yesterday, as we recorded this, the preparation for the new financial bill for 2025 has started. Yeah. You've seen what they've said. No new taxes and what.
Yeah.
And I saw a whole list that was put out by Dennis Itumbi. And guys were like, bro, you tweet about everything, right?
Yeah.
But the one that really caught my attention is how tone deaf everything is. You drop there were protests because of this and how expensive life is, the corruption, government wastage, and so many different kind of things. Unemployment still not addressed, which was a huge fact.
That's a big problem.
Yeah,
youth unemployment is crazy out there. Like, you've been my phone is on DND. It's been on DND for a while. I can't deal with it, man. I'm getting calls left, right, and center. Like, and I'm thankful for my position and stuff. But it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I can't. And it's just me being me. I can't pick up, bro. I never thought I'd be the guy who can't pick up unknown numbers, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's mad.
This money not in the economy and also general unemployment is quite something. The other day, I was I was picking up my old lady and auntie in Westlands. So these guys are like, okay, we'll Uber to you. They're late. This is a Sunday morning, like at 9 a.m. So I'm like, you know what? Let me catch some Z's in this moti. Then I was like, let me get a coffee. Went into Creamy, what's it called? Creamy or something over there. And here was a lady who works by the counter. And I remember I asked her, hey, can I get a coffee? And she was zoned out completely. I was like, hey. And she looked at me. She's like, hey, Paule, you know, I was just thinking about how I left my kids without breakfast this morning.
God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Like she was just zoned out. She did, this is me saying, hey. And she responded like that. So me, I'm there, I'm just buying my coffee. Then I was like, okay, cool. You know what? Let me send you something to send to the kids. And I don't know who you are, your story and what. We're done, but that's my small deed
For the day.
You get? But I just thought about how many of those stories are there. And this is someone by there who's employed.
Imagine.
But it's funny, if you even feel there's a weird energy, I think for the past like year or so, there's a weird energy and you realize people are angrier now. People are more
I feel that.
pissed. Yeah, people are pissed off. Like you can say the smallest thing to someone and they immediately snap at you. Like people are more irritable now. Even people you would think are okay are really not okay.
I don't think anyone's okay.
Yeah, like everybody just has this weird energy that we're walking around, and it's literally everybody and anybody you can think of. So
Yeah.
So
honestly, I would understand why people are zoned out and why
Yeah.
people.
Did you see that was also another viral thing with this this Chinese guy who's walking around and he spoke to this guy and he was like I can see in your eyes that you're not happy. Did you see that clip?
no, I haven't seen that.
You see that clip? So there's a clip where and the guy starts saying that how his friend committed suicide and da-da-da-da-da.
So this is a Chinese guy speaking
So
to
this
what?
is no. So
A
this
Kenyan?
is like American Chinese journalist
Okay.
guy, and he's walking around and he says to a guy, he goes, "Are you happy?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm happy." And he goes, "Are you really happy?" Like something like that. And the guy starts to talk. I'll try and find the clip. It's like there's a lot of people out there who are going through it, man.
Bro, it's
Yeah.
crazy times. Crazy times.
Crazy
man.
People are
times,
just
man.
off.
100%.
Yeah, man.
But
We gotta live.
Yeah.
we gotta live.
Yeah,
and that is why I think, just to summarize it, right? Be gentle on each other, but
Facts.
yeah, be gentle on each other, because you know, like you guys are snapping, and also you could just be gentle. You don't have to have all of the answers because everybody's going through it in a way, but just gentleness.
And give yourself grace as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, give yourself, because I feel like people have been very hard on themselves as well. They're not understanding where they're not getting to the next level, how they're not. I mean, yes, we blame the other things that people are blaming, but then also a little bit harder on themselves as well. So give yourself grace as
And you
well,
know,
to be fair.
actually, now that you mentioned that, being gentle on each other, plus social media, this shit don't make things any easier, bro.
Yeah.
Guys, let's lighten up a bit. Modern media, is it dead? Is radio dead?
Yeah.
Fam, so you saw in the week that I saw, and the reason I remember this is that shout out to Kerry Martin and Kwambox. I saw Kerry Martin and Kwambox crying to leave
I know.
Radio Africa. Sorry,
Yeah.
Kiss FM. They were like I didn't know how hard it was gonna be. Nah, I'm just being horrible. But yeah, I'm like, it's really interesting to me that within the space of the year, we're losing so many people who we came into the game kind of with, like our kind of people in the industry. And it's interesting how there's no, like, where's, like, so Minor, Giddy, Ghost, that's it. As in terms of the old, and Jeff maybe, Jeff Kanyangi.
Yeah.
He came after.
He came out. Yeah, he came after, right? To radio.
Yeah.
Because he was on TV. Who are the new juggernauts of radio?
I couldn't tell you.
Like, see, like honestly,
You-
I think from the mid-era, you still have Rachel and Malimu Rachel, who's on Drive at Kiss. But from our kind of batch, that's it.
That's it. And thingy. Nick Ndeda.
Nick's at KBC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's on Breakfast.
Yeah.
Right.
Nick over there. Dennis Sasseto. He's a journalist.
He's at Standard.
He's at Standard.
It's crazy though.
Mondo?
Every other-
Like Mondo?
Mike Mondo. Mondo came in after.
He came in after.
Yeah, after.
Yeah. And he's still there.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I look at the game, and you know what? This week, I had a very honest conversation with a previous colleague, stroke manager at the station, and I just had to express a few things that I thought about, and I really feel that mainstream media dug its own
Okay.
has dug its own grave.
No, I mean, there's no lies about that. And I am here to deliver this, right? Let me be the person who takes this. You know, you can keep chopping up,
Cutting costs.
but
you're not attacking the root cause.
you're not. And it will continue to get worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have people in there who do not understand, hey, we have to invest in the next 20 years
Yeah.
Yes.
of what this is gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, I remember my previous boss used to say, hey, we have a lot of people in sales who are just order takers. As in, these guys are just guys of, okay, here's the LPO.
Yeah.
You get so transactional.
receive.
Take, receive. You get.
Yeah.
So now it's gotten to the point where you have guys on this other side who are receiving the whatevers, and they're like, okay, cool. This is how this radio show will be done. What?
One more.
Bro, today you and I, Calvin and I today were in a briefing for probably the biggest company in Kenya. There was nobody in that briefing from radio. Not one
not shocked.
person.
100.
Not one. There was no salesperson. There was not even one person from radio, and it's a huge budget gig.
Yeah.
And I there's a part of me that wants to say I told you so, but I don't really have that gene in me, but I did tell you so. But the thing about it is, it's like what these guys don't understand is, as Calvin just said, right? The people they're relying on to fix this are part of the problem and are part of the people who created
The problem in the first place.
And they continue protecting themselves,
Yes.
thinking that there's going to be some miracle. I swear to
There's
you.
no miracle coming.
Innovation comes from within,
Yo,
which is
let me tell
which
you,
is what they're not doing.
let me tell you how big this miracle is that they're waiting for. Jesus is probably coming before that miracle.
God damn.
I swear to God.
It's crazy.
No, it's that fucking crazy. Because clueless people.
But I feel like they live in a bubble, right? Okay, the managers live in a bubble. The ones who are in the lead positions live in a bubble. And in turn, they make every single other person live in a bubble. And if you stay there for so long, then you literally get absorbed by that bubble. And you literally become a part of that bubble where you don't even think outside the box anymore. Those ideas you used to go to anymore.
I literally had to say to someone this week, I said, you know, for my last few years on the radio, like I had to say, I hate that you guys made me like second guess myself. Like
After all of those years.
after all of these years in radio, and after me coming to you guys and saying you need to do this, or you need to do
Two
that.
continents.
And then you think,
Across
why am
three
I...
continents.
Three
Yeah.
continents.
Across 3 continents.
Yeah.
And then the guys just were like, they just would not listen. Like, so now when the catalyst of the conversation was, I said to them, you know, for you guys who are having, and your revenues are falling, I feel nothing for you. And the guys like, but these are real people and real lives. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry for the guys who have lost their jobs, but I feel
Not sorry
nothing
for
for
But
the
it came
company.
from that reason. Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what's actually interesting about it, right?
And I don't want to be that guy who's bitter.
No. It's not about bitterness, G, right? Here's the thing. I go to Tanzania quite a bit, right? And I have the privilege of going to these radio stations quite a bit.
Right.
Like I'll go to Wasafi, I'll go to Mjini, I'll go to Clouds, I'll go to, what's Ali Kiba's radio station called?
Whatever.
Yeah. Bro, I can tell you some of the things these guys have invested in. Bro, Lamborghinis in terms of the equipment that they have.
Right.
They might not be put in...
Into good use?
No, V-Power. They're using kerosene. And by kerosene, I mean, like I look at them, like one of my guys runs a station there. He was operating it on a free radio software.
Right.
And I was like...
So you're looking at the size of the station.
Yeah.
Then you're looking at what they're using.
I was like...
Yeah.
So hence I
What are you
said
doing?
Lambo, and they're putting kerosene.
Right.
But the content and how these guys are doing it, Nini. I'm just like, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But they're being given creative freedom, aren't they?
Yeah.
See, that's
creative
the thing.
freedom, the way they love it.
Yeah.
The advertisers, bro. As in, let me tell you, I've been to TZ on a Saturday. I keep saying, and I've said it here before.
Yeah.
Kenyan radio on a Saturday is very lazy.
You know what you're gonna
Very
get.
lazy.
It's
Very
you know
lazy.
what
But
you're gonna get.
I find that, like, bro, like, I can't even lie to you. This week I've woken up and I've listened to radio, and like, there was that something was talking, like, one of the topics this week was along the lines of when you're the wingman in your friend's relationship, and I'm like,
Nigga,
How
until
many
when?
years?
I'm like.
Until when?
How many
I'm
years?
like, yo,
Bro.
And then you see the thing about it is, this is why, like I'm glad I got out when I got out, and I still think I got out later than I should have got out. But one thing I'm proud of, I never did that
shit.
We never did that shit.
Yeah.
Bro, like,
We didn't do it.
100%.
Like,
and you've been told, this is a manual.
we don't, like, until we went to Radio Africa.
Yeah.
We used to pride ourselves on, we don't do politics.
True.
We don't do relationships.
But even at Radio Africa, we were kind of given a script, but we always used to kind
Yeah.
of like, move
around
away
it, like,
from that. Or
like that
try to
thing
go
is,
around it.
bro. That thing is dead, fam. Like, and I listen to my friends, people who are doing that shit. I'm like, call me an outlier. Call me like I just feel like, for me, like, I've been very humble about, like, the contribution that I've made to radio in this country.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad that the people who came up through me saw a different side of radio.
True.
Saw a different energy, saw creativity. Do you know, a client? I told you,
You told
week,
me, yeah.
This week, a client, one of our present clients, sent me a proposal that the company had been sent like 10 years ago from myself and Calvin.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I found this in the bottom of a cupboard in the boardroom. And he sent me the pictures of the
Oh, it
proposal.
was like a physical copy.
It's a physical
Yeah,
copy,
it's
right?
it's giving
You
10
get me?
years ago.
And when he sent me the screenshot, did I forward them to you?
Yeah.
I forwarded them to you. I'm like, this shit was so fun. And I said to him, another great idea that was ahead of its time.
Yeah,
You get me?
fact.
So it's like one of those ones, like, I feel like I love radio. Maybe that's why we talk about it so much on the podcast, but I'm so disappointed in this
bro, when I say lazy, let me go back to
It's
that previous.
lazy.
Like when I was talking about that point, right? When I say lazy, right? 2 examples. That Saturday show I was listening to in traffic. The other day in TZ, bro, that guy was giving the whole rundown in Swahili and Sheng. You know how they do their TZ thing?
Yeah.
I might not get a couple of words, but that
you're
shit sounded
entertained.
good. Yo, the idents, everything sounded so good. Now, number 1. Number 2, SA, September last year. I was at Vodacom, right? And one of the guys I was talking to at Vodacom does a radio show that's on between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. on a Friday and Saturday. And the guy has a whole audience.
Bro, listen.
1 a.m. to 4 a.m.
That's wild.
Fam,
Joe
that
back.
shift.
Like people are awake for that. Okay, but then people work at that time,
Bro,
right?
let me
There's a
tell you.
lot of people.
Listen, how many times, and people from a particular culture can remember this, bro. We used to take the Saturday night show, the Source, out on road.
Yeah, Hassan and them.
Hassan and them used to go
Yeah.
out on road. So you're driving in Nairobi,
Yeah.
you turn on the radio,
You hear this
you're
guy.
hearing the club. Where are these guys?
Bopping.
You're heading to the club, fam. I
was so
I
dope.
listened to an old episode of Turn Up Louder, which is a Sunday.
Sunday, 7 to...
And
Favorite show.
Ash used to produce a show for me, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, bro, we had adverts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally
Like,
had
so many adverts on a Sunday.
Bruh.
that was
we had-
one of my favorite shows.
We had presenter mentions, adverts, we were making money on a Sunday.
Imagine that. So now when you think about... So hence why I was saying lazy. Because you have... then also, let's call it what it is, though. You also have people who came into the game, and I'm not trying to, like... what do you call it?
Diss anyone.
I'm not trying to diss anyone or trying to gatekeep, right?
Yeah.
But you've had people who've come in to radio for the fame and not given or accelerated what they found it. You know, whatever field you go into, please leave something.
Yeah.
Make it better than you found it. You know what I mean?
True.
There's been a lot of that. So hence why you have guys who, if you ask them or you hear conversations about radio, guys are like, by the time I was leaving, I was making this much. This is how much, what. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck are you actually known for?
I'll say this, and to their defense, again, I say this. I can't really blame the people who came into radio after, because I would say after our generation or
Actually,
our whatever.
Sorry, to interject, right? I'd say there've been people who've come at different times, that generation and this generation, who have just walk or two. Yes. But
to their defense, see, and I always say this, there are people who are born for this shit. Like, literally born for this shit, and their minds work differently in terms of creativity, etc. And there's some people who know and understand how to push. Again, I'm going back to the bubble. Some of these people you can also say that they tried, right? And no matter how many times they tried, they were never given that opportunity. Hence, G was just like, these people made me doubt myself. But G has that in him to be like, nah, I'm the baddest nigga out here. You get what I mean? But for some of them, they didn't have that. And they also didn't have people to actually push them to do it. Or they go and be like, okay, do you think this was a good idea even if it's been turned down? So there's only so much you can do to some extent.
Let me tell you, there's a time when Calvin and I were in Kisumu, and it's like we were doing a live, was it Airtel Sports Day thing?
No,
right?
Airtel Stars, the football tournament.
We did 2 days in Kisumu, right? Do you know, I'll never forget this, like we were driving from the hotel about 9 o'clock to
Kisumu High School.
To Kisumu High School, right? And we're in the taxi, and then we're like, yo, let's try and do a link live. Not because we'd planned it, not because so we had the laptop.
It was a Focusrite.
The Focusrite. The thing connected to the thing. And we did a link from the cab back to the studio.
Yeah.
While we're moving on the way to man.
You know, crazy days like those, man. You're doing a show, it's paid for by Airtel, but the modem is Safaricom. and you have to cover it.
Do you remember?
You have to cover it. Because the client is there.
Bro,
yes. We're glad as Airtel.
Do you remember those?
Wrapped it up.
Do you remember today? Do you remember those days? Let me see how crazy it used to be. It used to be like 7 to 8. Yo, it's like 7 to 8. This is brought to you by Safaricom.
15-minute, 30-minute break.
And then 8 o'clock, you do something else. Then 9 o'clock, the final other show. Airtel.
Yeah.
Crazy time. I'll tell you this.
Spread them long enough, far away enough, so
no one's done a radio show inside of Weetabix. Like we were doing the show.
And
the biscuits
are being made.
I love that.
KFC.
Oh yeah.
We opened the KFC in town at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
Just to go and see how they make chicken.
The other one was, now the crazy one is Amiran. Greenhouses.
I wasn't there. That was you guys.
Greenhouses,
Yeah.
Greenhouses.
That's wild.
Yeah. And let me tell you, like when
I was in studio.
Let me tell you how crazy this is, right?
You guys have literally been to every single industry you can think of.
We even did Nokia. Back when. Yeah. And you know what's actually crazy about it? So when we started the office invasion, right?
Yeah.
So like in hindsight, when you do something and you get so intentional about it. I remember one of the things was when I was transitioning to go to Saracen, I was like, let's do an office invasion over there.
At Saracen.
We did one, right? And while we were there, I remember talking to Shiko. And Shiko was like, this is such a dope concept.
Yeah.
Right? Wanjiko Nailenya, right? Such a dope concept. Would you believe all office invasions going forward were sponsored by Weetabix?
Wow.
Yeah, they were paid for.
Weetabix, as in, came in as a sponsor.
Yeah.
And every office we went to, Steve was there, man. Steve used to be, before he went to Red Bull.
Yeah.
He was at Weetabix.
So the point we're making is creative radio created revenue.
Yeah.
Because the office invasion was so new at the time.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are new school, the office invasion was every Friday morning we would go and do the show from a different office. And I still remember the last one at
Where?
at Scope Market when Pete pissed me off.
Oh, yeah.
Scope Markets,
God.
yeah.
we
I was
did
in
that.
studio that day.
We
huh?
did one at
Day.
Scope Markets. You know,
Oh,
do you know
man.
we've even done one at ABSA?
Yes, I remember that as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, this is reminiscent
just
about
come in, actually.
reminiscent
Yeah,
about
I just
radio.
remembered.
But I'm just saying that like radio, unfortunately, radio is not going to be able to fix itself.
Not innovation.
I just feel that the people who are running these stations right now, to be very honest, unless they invest some good money in people who can think outside the box, it's crazy. It's like, you know, your brand, and if you're a brand person, if you're a radio brand, if you're even as a brand like any other company, you are the new entertainers. So if your content is not entertaining, then your content is going to not going to be sticky. I'm just saying. Why is Andy messaging me on Snapchat? Oh, he's telling. Oh, actually, he's actually talking about what we're talking about.
For real?
Yeah, he's just like talking about. Yeah, big
Wait,
up Andy.
is this on the street?
No, this is me and Andy on Snapchat.
Yeah,
Sorry,
On a
God.
picture.
Also, bro, let me see what else we had on the group.
This has just been a random conversation.
Also, let me bring this up. I'm assuming we're close to it.
Yeah.
Andy dropped something. You know, we gotta represent.
I've got to represent Andy.
Yeah, Andy dropped something about the best TV shows that have been there. Do you get how much TV do you guys watch? And TV shows. Let's be specific.
Now, yes.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, from the list that I've seen, this majority of them are a little bit older, like 90s, 2000s. Let's
I'm
say.
actually watching The Sopranos again.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
So, and
watching
then
it.
you'll realize that a lot of, I'm just going to do the top 10. A lot of this, you have, it's something that you rewatch. And when you said Friends, I was just like, we definitely have to go back to this. Okay. Tell me how many shows you've watched and how many you haven't.
Okay.
And which ones you think you will rank as the best of all time. Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty dope series.
Okay. Game of Thrones.
Never watched it.
Never watched it.
Never watched it. That's what
Oh
I've got.
my God.
Like
we
I remember.
I watched one episode
Do you remember
with the
when
dragons.
Bro, remember when EABL had even
dragons.
sponsored. EABL had even sponsored you remember the bottles?
Oh, yeah, ice
remember-
and fire.
I remember dropping one of my people there, some chick I was dating. I was like, hey, cool.
They did
Yo,
the launch over there next to Homeboys.
they did the launch. I don't know about that one.
They
They
did that
had
one.
one final watch party at Thingy. Remember Vineyard?
I remember.
In West
Oh,
Tea.
yeah.
I dropped her there. I was like, good stuff. Me, I'm going. I've never
I
watched
remember
it.
I watched one episode, and this chick had dragons, bro. And these
Khaleesi.
dragons wipe out the whole city.
Sweetie, we
were
need
like-
to have a watch party for damn sure. But you'll get hooked after like 4 or 5 episodes. You'll
Okay,
get
so that's
hooked.
Game of Thrones. Go on.
Yeah, Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Chernobyl, never watched that.
Okay, The Sopranos.
Doom.
Yes.
Doom, of course.
I don't remember Band of Brothers.
One of the greatest.
Ever. Tony, man. Tony
Yeah.
Soprano. He fucked his thingy. Shrink.
Yeah. And he died
He's
in real
died.
life,
He
innit?
died.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Actually, speaking about him, right? The other day I posted an image of him, right? He had actually auditioned to be in the cast of Titanic.
Yeah, but they said that he was too menacing.
He was too menacing.
Yeah, too
People
menacing.
would see
He
him
would have
as...
looked like the iceberg on him.
might-
Man.
yeah,
I died. I saw that shit. I was like, wow.
Be like, you
what a
fuck up the
comment.
iceberg.
He was full Italian.
Okay, Band of Brothers. I
Is
don't
that
think
the
I've ever
movie
heard of
or
that.
the series?
I have
I've never
no,
heard of that.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. The Wire.
Of
Nah.
course, yes.
Oh, Wire is a classic.
The Wire. Shit.
Yeah, that's old school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stranger
Better-
Things.
Better Call Saul.
Oh, Better Call Saul. My
Better
bad.
Call Saul is actually a spin-off of Breaking
Oh,
Bad.
that's a good. Yeah. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
No.
Yeah, I figured you guys haven't watched that. Sherlock.
Sherlock is
really good.
It's a mini series.
Yeah, but it's
British.
it's a newer one. Do you know they have like different series?
Okay.
For Sherlock,
okay,
Sherlock
okay.
Holmes, Sherlock, etc.
Okay.
We have Peaky Blinders.
It's back with the guy. He's back, huh? I've seen
I've
that.
never gotten into that though.
I've heard they call him this guy. Who was his name? Macquarie or the piano guy?
Why are you looking at him? He doesn't have time to watch
No. I
series.
was trying to figure.
He's busy making them.
I was trying to figure what camera. He was
Yeah, let me
making
think.
series.
Sometimes Byron posts some content about editors and what they're going through. I just look, but I don't like them.
You just watch them.
I pretend that I don't see them.
Because you know we're part of the problem.
You're just like, yeah. No, what's our guy called? What's his name?
The Peaky Blinder, the main character.
No, a guy who was demonstrating, who used to be on.
What's his name?
The guy who
The one with the
everyone
suit.
hates. The guy with the suits.
How
The guy, G, the guy.
Casmill.
Yeah, Caswell.
They're calling him Pussy Blinders today or some shit.
Wow.
No, guys
Because
have
of his
really
suits.
gone in on him.
Because he's commented today and said, Sijui, I didn't take no handshake. What that whole comment. Guys are just like, nigga.
Also,
Bro, let me tell you, I interviewed him during the whole 25th, that whole period there. And I just said to Kibbs at the time, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? I feel that sometimes it's very easy to get carried away by by events.
yeah.
And kind of lose yourself in them. And I just hope that he finds balance to what he wants to do, you know? Because everyone's doing their own thing, man.
That's true.
Yo,
Gotten a
bro.
lot of heat after the documentary
Yeah.
came out, though. I mean,
Guys are like, he was not in there.
yeah. Kenyans
Oh, he
know how to
said I
joke
was
as
not in
well.
there.
No, like Kenyans were just joking about it. So we've reached 10, but I want to just throw a couple of them in. The Office.
Oh.
Great fucking show.
Office is a
Now
good
you're
one.
talking.
Right? Mad Men.
American, and you know the American and British Office, there's two different ones.
The American one.
The American one is they're both sick. They're both
I
sick.
haven't gotten to the British one. I've just discovered it and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll get to that. Mad Men.
Never watched it.
Please watch Mad Men. And seeing as we're all marketers to some extent.
I've watched Mad
You'll
Men.
enjoy Mad Men thoroughly.
The guy from Mad Men is on a new show called Your Neighbors and Your Friends and Neighbors.
Best fucking series
It's
of
a
all
really
time.
good one. It's a really good one.
At the moment, that one, Your Neighbors and Friends, and Will Trent, that's my current favorite one.
Will
By the way,
Trent.
You is back. Final
You is-
season.
Yeah,
I'm probably
there's
gonna-
Joe.
you guys need to watch. You're a big fan of Guy Ritchie, right?
Yes.
He's got a new show called Mobland.
Oh, really?
yeah.
And it's
yes,
got
yes.
Pierce Brosnan and what's our lady who used to be like on all James Bond movies? That old British actor.
I don't know.
Not Moneypenny.
I don't know. Yeah.
That one.
I don't know. That's one thing I'm actually enjoying. That like I get a chance to watch a lot more series these days, man.
Yo, let me
good.
tell you. So this lady, imagine it's got Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, and Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren.
Yeah, that's
The
a
old lady with the
proper-
white hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a proper cast.
And it's a Guy Ritchie production.
Yeah.
Yo, Guy
That's
Ritchie.
a lot of violence.
Bro, what,
A lot of things
what
going
happened to
on.
Guy Ritchie and Madonna though?
They had
You know,
a thing.
They were married.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
Clearly, I don't know.
that's
enough
the
about
blackest white couple.
The blackest white couple. whenever I think of Guy Ritchie now, though, I just think of Riley in Boondocks.
Boondocks.
Fuck you, fuck the Queen, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck
Yo, fuck the team.
In fact, I think that's
Yo,
how
get it.
That's a wrap.
Start how we end the
mics
podcast.
are open, and we're leaving you in the safe hands of Riley.
When I have to go to the dentist, I'm upset. When Liverpool beats Arsenal, I'm upset. But when some little shit decides to take over one of the most profitable territories in the country, I'm beyond fucking upset. I'm very fucking upset. So, from now on, you're under new management. You will work for me, and in return, you'll receive an allowance.
Allowance?
Yes, allowance. As in, I'm allowing you to keep 10%, and I'm allowing you to keep drawing breath on this earth. Now, you either get down or you lay down. What's it gonna be, sunshine?
This wasn't no movie. The smart thing was to say yes, get up, and leave the room. But then I thought to myself, what if this was a movie? Look, fuck you, fuck the plane you flew in on, fuck them shoes, fuck those socks with the bell on it, fuck your gay-ass fairy faggot accent, fuck them cheap-ass cigars, fuck your yuck-mouth teeth, fuck your hairpiece, fuck your chocolate, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck Prince William, fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.